You know that sinking feeling, right? Regret. It's this heavy emotion most of us just try to bury or run away from. But what if we've been looking at it completely wrong? Today, we're going to explore how to totally reframe regret, turning it from this thing that weighs you down into one of your greatest assets. So let's just start with a big question. I want you to think about that one moment, that one decision you wish you could just do over. Yeah, the one that still makes you cringe a little bit. Now, what if that wasn't a failure? What if it was actually the raw material for your greatest strength?
Before we can really reframe it, we have to get why regret has such a powerful, painful grip on us in the first place. It's a feeling everybody has, and it's all tied to this story we tell ourselves about what our mistakes really mean.
Yeah, this probably looks pretty familiar. We're pretty much taught to see regret as this giant flashing sign that just says, you messed up. We treat it like it's proof that we failed, a constant reminder of a bad choice, or even some kind of personal weakness. So, of course, our first instinct is to just run from it. But that's the old way of thinking, and honestly, it's not very helpful.
So what's the alternative then? Let's flip the script on this. It is time to build a much more powerful way of thinking by redefining what regret actually is.
Here it is. This is the big shift. The old view, it frames regret as failure, as weakness, as being stuck in a bad past. But the new reality, it's so much more empowering. Instead of failure, what if you saw it as growth? Instead of weakness, you see it as awareness. And it's not about a bad past. It's not using that past to create a wiser present.
Okay, here's the core idea right here. Regret is simply awareness. And I mean, think about that for a second. The only reason you can regret something you did in the past is because the person you are today knows better. That feeling isn't a punishment. It's proof that you've evolved. It's basically the receipt for a lesson that you learned and paid for.
And this quote just puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? A life with zero regrets, well, that doesn't mean it was a perfect life. It could just mean it was a life lived without any reflection, without ever stopping to ask, hey, could I have done that better? What did I learn there? In that sense, regret is an absolutely vital tool for a thoughtful life. So if regret is a sign of growth, it makes sense that the experiences that cause it are our most powerful teachers. Let's dive into that.
Why do our mistakes hurt so much? Well, it's because they matter. They challenge our sense of who we are, they poke holes in our judgment, and they make us face some pretty uncomfortable truths. But that discomfort, that sting you feel from a mistake, that is the exact moment where real, lasting learning kicks in.
It's kind of funny, we almost never remember the easy wins, but our mistakes, they stick with us. And that's because they're such powerful teachers. They show us which paths not to go down again. They teach us where we need to draw a line and set a boundary. They can be the ultimate test of character, showing us who we can really trust. And maybe the most important thing is that in the rubble of a mistake, we often find what we truly value. Those are lessons that success almost never teaches you. So what's the long-term payoff for learning all these hard lessons? You build emotional intelligence. Seriously, when you grapple with the consequences of your own choices, it makes you more thoughtful, more self-aware, and, this is crucial, way more empathetic to other people. It's like a training ground for becoming a better leader, a better friend, a better human. Okay, but there is a really important warning here. The emotion of regret itself isn't the dangerous part, but getting stuck in it, that absolutely is. And this distinction right here is absolutely critical. There's a huge difference between learning from your regret and living inside of it. Learning from it moves you forward. You're just using the past as data to inform your future. But living in it, that keeps you trapped. It lets the past define who you are today, and that just paralyzes you. So how do we make sure that we stay in the learning column and not get stuck in the living in it column? Well, it all comes down to a clear, actionable process. So here it is, the toolkit for turning regret into fuel. It's 4 simple steps. Step 1, you have to extract the lesson. Go beyond just feeling bad about it and ask yourself specifically, what did this teach me? Step 2, you have to forgive yourself. You can't grow if you're constantly beating yourself up. Self-compassion is key. Step 3, apply the insight. A lesson is totally useless if it doesn't actually change your future behavior. And finally, step 4, you move forward intentionally, using the past as wisdom, not as a weight holding you down. I want you to let this one sink in for a minute. Every single successful person you admire has a past that is just littered with bad decisions, wrong turns, and missed opportunities. The difference isn't that they didn't make mistakes.
The difference is that they figured out how to use their regret as fuel, instead of letting it become a prison.
So the next time you feel that sting of regret, I really want you to remember this. That mistake is not proof that you failed. It's a certificate of education. It is the undeniable proof that you are in the process of becoming a wiser, stronger, and more capable version of yourself.
And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Let's go back to that mistake we thought about at the beginning. But this time, look back not with shame, but with curiosity. What lesson did your biggest mistake teach you? And how are you using that lesson today?